men's foilist Hazem Khazbak. Hazem, you took a Olympic red shirt last year to focus on qualifying for Rio as an Egyptian national team member. How did that year off and focusing on that high level of fencing develop your fencing?
It actually developed my fencing greatly. I was able to, even though I didn't compete, I was able to travel to all the competitions and see a very high level of fencing. And right before my injury, while I was training with Garrick and while I was training with Lee, I mean, I was able to gain so much experience, you know, one, competing with them and batting with them, but just being able to watch from the outside and see how people, you know, just go through the competitions and how they think about competitions and fencing and go through the motions and whatnot.
Now, you guys have a number of high-level athletes here at Notre Dame that compete on the cadet, junior, senior circuits, but almost everyone we talk with mentions the difference between just competing on that and taking time off to focus full-time on qualifying for the games.
Yeah.
How did you see that difference play out between like doing both and then just focusing full-time on the senior level circuit?
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, it's completely different, of course, because when you're in school, you have to balance out school and sleep and whatnot. And then when you're taking the year off just to train, I mean, you wake up and the first thing on your mind is, I'm going to go to practice today and I'm going to start working out. And so, I felt it really developed my game. Like I said, not being able to completely train, of course, was different, but being able to develop, one, my mental aspect and a lot of my other skills that I wouldn't have had the chance to, because purely because I didn't have enough time being in school and whatnot.
A lot of athletes talk about the benefits that they sometimes make through an injury.
Yeah.
Because of the inability to actually be on the strip, fencing, competing, you're forced to look at the game a bit differently. Absolutely. And often like the tactics kind of change for you. How do you feel your perspective of the sport shifted through an injury?
Yeah, well, so before my injury, I kind of, fencing to me, I love fencing, but it felt like a job. It felt like, you know, every day I'm waking up and I'm kind of stressed about practice. I'm stressed about how I'm going to do the competition, and kind of taking that like year of just laying back and just looking at it from the outside. One, it showed me how much I love fencing and how much I really care about the sport. But it also helped me, like I said, develop a lot of the things that I wouldn't have been able to develop while I was fencing. Being on the outside, you get to see and look at Garrick, for example, and how he trains, his mentality going into competitions, and it's not the mentality of someone that's going in to do a job. It's someone that's going to have fun, and being able to miss the sport really made me like get mentally ready for the season. Not just that, I took a lot of like sitting down lessons. I took a lot of chair lessons, and that helped my like defense game a lot. My hand got a lot stronger, and so now recovering from injury, getting my leg to catch up is like the only thing I have to worry about. Otherwise, I feel good. And
of course, like you said, you know, being away, but being forced to. Like as much as you might want to, it's kind of that you want what you can't have.
Exactly.
And no matter what, like you're still injured.
Yeah, exactly. You never know what you have until it's taken from you, and then you kind of know how much it means to you and how much you care about it.
So for this kind of rediscovery of your love for fencing and also the improvements that you made through like chair lessons, what elements will you trying to continue incorporating into your training and maybe even competition?
Yeah, well, absolutely. First of all, I think just having fun while I'm at practice is going to be a big thing. Knowing that I have you know, I'm pleasured enough to be able to fence here with these really awesome fencers and train so much is one thing. But definitely, I think technically being able to take away all the handwork that I did is going to be crucial. Like I said, you know, all I'm doing right now is just getting my legs to catch up to me. But my handwork is very good, and so that's what I kind of want to stay consistent with it. Even now, like I'm cleared, but I'm still doing hand lessons to make sure that my hands are like set up well and everything's going well.
That's something I've heard before about anytime like an able-bodied fencer tries to compete against a wheelchair fencer, like the speed is crazy. Oh,
absolutely.
Do you find like that your speed has changed also, or really just like the power and control?
No, speed is definitely a big thing. I actually, like, at the beginning of the year when I wasn't cleared, I would fence wheelchair with some of these people, and people that I wouldn't usually beat, I'd destroy, just because my speed, and like, you kind of look at fencing a little differently. When you're in that close distance, and when everything has to be so precise and so technical, you fence a little bit differently, and so taking that away onto the strip is something that's going to be very big for me.